so Peter Waterman, the floor is yours. I'll get you to speak about sustainability and I'll get out of your hair.
Right. Oh, getting out of my hair now, there is a challenge. Well, thank you so much for having me here at this fantastic facility. This is part of the demonstration of the sort of things that we can do, and we should see these right across regional Australia. What I'm going to talk to you about this afternoon, quickly in my allocated, 17 minutes and 40 seconds left, sustainability technologies for adapting decentralised regional urban development to changing climatic conditions. I'm not using the word climate change. What we do know and what we can measure, because we've been told about climate change, what we do know is that our climatic conditions are changing. And to remind you, what's going on outside at the moment is called weather. We aggregate that for 30 years and we have a climate and we have a benchmark that we can measure from. So it's not conjecture, it is fact. What am I going to do? Look at the purpose and the focusing question, articulate a challenge, put a definition around some key terms, ask a couple of questions, put forward what is the concept of a climate change adapted urban utility services and how they can be delivered, look at self-sustaining urban utility services and how they tie into decentralised regional urban development, provide some examples, look at the triple bottom line. If we're talking about sustainability and we haven't got a triple bottom line, we haven't done the job, and leave you some take-home questions. The purpose of being here is to argue the case for integrating the delivery of decentralised community services. Why do we need to do this? And I think this is a fundamental thing that we need to have these services for water, wastewater and renewable energy at the community scale. It's for us to use and have. So I pose a question. Is it an eclectic idea or an aspirational aim, or is it pie in the sky? The point I'm going to make and drive home this afternoon is that we have the technologies. They're there. They're either currently being applied, and we see examples of them, or they're in the technology marketplace. And one of them's just outside, a beautiful Savonius Rona wind generator, here at this facility. So why not bring them together? Why aren't we being eclectic and pulling this stuff together? In the world, there's two sorts of ideas. There's people's ideas where you grab bits and pieces of ideas, sort them out, get the bits you want. That's eclecticism. Or you're a purist and you sit down and pontificate and think, I've just had this fantastic idea. No, we're eclectic, and we've got to be that if we're going to deliver self-sustaining urban utility services for decentralised development. What do we need to do? We need to foster and support this type of initiative. Foster and support, because we're facing the twin challenges of changing climatic conditions and populations. And nowhere do we see that more than in our coastal regions. But I'm hoping we do see some population pressure in inland Australia, in regions such as we're in here, in the food bowl of Australia in the Murray-Darling Basin. So what is this? What is this phenomena? Decentralised urban region development. It's in peri-urban, urban and remote areas, and I make an operational definition, it's the type of development that is supported by decentralised urban utility services. It's about potable water, it's about wastewater treatment and renewable energy. Why do we need to decentralise? My argument is a fundamental one. We are too dependent in our urban development framework on end of pipe, i.e. sewer pipes or water pipes or big cables. Yes, we do need that in certain areas, but I believe if we want to move more into regional Australia, think in a decentralised way, we look at how we can package up the provision of these services. Why do we need to do that? Firstly, there's a threat of drought. We haven't got such short memories that we've forgotten the millennium drought, especially in an area like this. Is it followed by floods, as we've seen in Queensland? The heatwave situation in Victoria. Bushfires impacting on water catchments and dams as we saw in Canberra with the major bushfires. Intense storm events, be they cyclonic or just big storms, they can disrupt the security of supply of water and electricity. What do we want to do this for? My argument is that we want sustainable regional communities. We want communities that are adapted to changing climatic conditions, have resilient populations, and I know that Brian will be talking about this, as Ian has. We want self-sufficiency in the provision of water and electricity. Self-sufficiency. We don't want to be looking to have water carted in, as I grew up with, 365 miles, 740 kilometres, up a big pipe, pumped. Huge amount of energy to do that. But these communities are flexible and future-focused. And you can see that the basic definition this is based upon from the Brundtland Commission is about we're looking to the future and not compromising what our future generations need. I'll make an argument that to be sustainable, regional communities need climate-adapted urban utility services. Climate change adapted. It means that we need to understand and be able to model what will future climates look like. We have the tools. In my laptop, I haven't got the one I've got here at the moment, but we have tools that sit in our laptop which enable us to develop models which enable us to get fully into discussion. They're not decision tools, they're discussion tools. We need utilities that are built modular, incrementally provided. We don't want to put in, as we normally do, a development is proposed, 500 homes just to grab a number. We put the infrastructure, the headworks in for that now. We pay the cost now. No, we don't need to do that. If we're rolling it out 100 homes at a time, that's how you modularise it. You need to co-locate your water, your wastewater and all of those provisions where the demand is, not somewhere out of your region. You need to have the capacity in that set of technologies to generate renewable energy. You want biodiversity-friendly carbon sinks, and because we're looking at decentralised regional development in communities, you need to resource what has to happen from there, be it the skills, be it the money, needs to come at the community scale. And I think it's wonderful being here in a centre where another generation or future generations of sustainability technologists will be trained. I've used the word climate proofing. Now, some people don't like the notion of proofing. They think it's waterproofing and my raincoat always leaked. Rabbit proofing, you never kept the rabbits out. But climate proofing is slightly different because what it is saying we're going to put into place a suite of activities that will make areas and assets more, and communities and individuals more resilient. We need resistance and resilience in this equation. Where does this come from? You'll find it in the 2007 Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report. They talk about climate proofing and how it's been rolled out in Pacific and other countries. It's been taken up by the European Union, the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank. My first exposure to it was to work in the little island state of Kossere in the Federated States of Micronesia, where people had less than $1,000 a year per capita income, and they still wanted roads and they still wanted culverts and all of those things, and they had to really think through a climate-proofed solution. And there's some interesting little case studies in Queensland that we've done at the community scale. What do we need to do to roll all this out? Well, as it shows in your program, we're going to look at potable and non-potable water, wastewater reclamation and treatment, the recovery of biosolids from your waste stream, and harnessing wind, solar power on site. So when we look at the approach, take a systems approach, potable water supply and treatment systems, roof water capture. You don't grab an individual roof, you go for a group of roofs. You put it into a storage system, a fantastic new idea possibly developed by the ancient Egyptians or even someone before that, but we've forgotten it, hence the eclecticism. We have advanced safe water treatments and a yellow pipe to get it there. Wastewater treatment, that's stuff that's going in the household sewage and sewer mining. Advanced treatment technologies can do the job for you. Not only that, because of the technologies, you can take the sludges out at the front end, and believe it or not, poo is worth money. A very important equation. Biosolid captures, sewage sludge, take it out at the front end, not at the rear end. Take it out when you've got the high calorific value. Household poostable wastes, all that stuff that, you know, couldn't really put it in the compost, but slip it in the bin, it goes to landfill and makes plenty of methane. Someone else has to worry about it. Sink maceration could be accidental or purposeful, but you can pick it up in your sewage flow. And domestic, urban and green wastes, again, sources of energy, shouldn't be going to landfill. And the energy supply systems, solar, wind, biosolids. Well, what it looked like if we bring it all together? We're looking towards decentralised regional urban development. Roof water capture, sewage, sludge, solar, all of the components interact. That is what I call a good approach, an eclectic solution. And what do we have to drive it with? I'm just going to give you 3 quick examples. The NEPSIS system, it's packaged, takes the dry sludge out at the front end. You get superior quality effluent, AAA+. You can deploy it in small communities, it's compact, and it reduces headwork costs. If you reduce headwork costs, you can put more affordable housing into place. Oh, and by the way, it's solar powered. EcoWhisper, a little bigger than the Savonius rotor out here on the site, but being built in Geelong, oh, brand new technology, patented in 1947. When we were thinking about these things, the patent lapsed, no one wanted to build it. Some clever gentlemen from Coolum picked it up. They're now producing these machines. So they stand 21 metres in height with 20 kilowatt output, really nice in industrial area, or you can put it in a suburban confine, virtually silent. And having stood around it, admittedly that when you need those things on the top of your ears, your silence is another word, but it is in that framework. Biosolids to energy, active research technologies, they break up the material with ultrasound, producing gas in 24 hours that normally would take 24 days. And when it's being produced in 24 days, it's normally in the open and you've got the release of CO2 equivalents. Organic waste should be seen as congealed energy. What I'm arguing is we have that wonderful psychological thing, a gestalt, that the whole self-sustaining urban utility services for decentralised regional urban development, it is greater than the sum of the parts. In terms of sustainability, how does it stack up? Environmentally, as you can read, can you all see? It's climate-proofed. It's reducing greenhouse gas emissions. It's reducing from both the way we do the treatment and post-treatment. It's taking solid waste out of landfills, and it's increasing resource use. For the community, lower costs. The hip pocket nerve is preserved. Secure water and energy supplies. Enhanced urban amenity because you've got non-potable water to use for area beautification. Reduced visual impact and an opportunity for community ownership, which I'll finish off with. For economic developers, lower headwork costs, cheaper capital expenditure, cheaper operating expenditure, assured revenue streams, reduced time to construct, and you are putting in place the what you need for equipment today without having to invest for tomorrow, as we do with conventional business as usual systems. Okay, what have we covered? I've tried to give you an argument of why we need decentralised urban utility service delivery. It's because the centralised system is at risk. We can integrate it and create a whole. I'm arguing, and I make the point to you, that what we want is the eclectic use of sustainability technologies that are there on the shelf. And what we need this for is a climate change adaptation strategy for regional Australia. So, the take-home questions for you. Whether the proposition which I've put for you to provide self-sustaining urban utility services for decentralised urban development, is it, and for you to answer at home as you cogitate in the shower or on the toilet, an eclectic idea, an aspirational aim, or a climate change adaptation strategy that must be actioned in regional Australia? It's definitely not pie in the sky, and I can tell you why. There's a group of us got together in southeast Queensland. We've got a community water company. We're doing this for what you do in your old age and incompetence. Go out and try and sell this into the community, and we're getting some traction. It can be done. Getting developers on side is an important component of it, but it isn't pie in the sky. We're finding people are listening. We're finding that we've already done the sustainability assessments that have been not only peer-reviewed in an academic sense, but industry-reviewed. They say this stacks up, this looks good. So, what I'm urging is, why don't we give it a try somewhere else? So, thank you to listening and watching my sales pitch for an eclectic idea.